Garden Tomb. Joshua. He was crucified in Namibia on the 14th of Nisan, on the day of preparation when the Passover lamb is slaughtered. Joseph of Arimathea, along with several men, they took the body of Joshua. They placed the body of Joshua in a new tomb. The Gospels, they let us know that a great stone was rolled in front of the tomb. The tomb, it was sealed with 7 wax seals. Early in the morning, Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary, the mother of James, and other women, they all came to the tomb.
Why do you seek the living among the dead? He is not here, but is risen.
Remember what he said to you while he was in Galilee. The Son of Man will be handed over to sinful men, be crucified, and on the 3rd day rise again.
This is the Garden Tomb. This is the location of the Garden Tomb in Namibia. In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 24, verse 12, it reads, Then arose Peter, and ran unto the sepulchre, and stooping down, he beheld the linen clothes laid by themselves, and departed, wondering in himself at that which was come to pass. Luke chapter 24, verse 12. In this text, Luke is using the Greek word parakupto. Parakupto. This Greek word, it describes Peter bending over as if looking downward. Luke says that Peter had to stoop down. The Greek word for stoop down is parakupto, and it means to bend over looking downward. And this is the evidence that Peter, he was looking down at the ground. And the reason Peter was looking down at the ground, because the sepulchre, this is the sepulchre. This is how it looked. The sepulchre is this structure here with 2 open chambers. These are the chambers. 2 open chambers. These chambers, they are underground, constructed into a cavern. This is where Joshua was laid, and this is where he rose from the dead. Thus Peter and the other disciples, when they came to the tomb, they came here to this location in Namibia, and Peter had to stoop down to look inside the chamber to see the linen clothes. So the evidence of Peter stooping down, bent over, looking down, this is the evidence that the chamber is an opening, an underground chamber. This is why Peter was stooped down, bent over, looking downward. And there's the evidence that the burial site, the tomb that Joshua was placed in, it was an underground tomb, an underground chamber constructed into a cavern. This is the location where the Garden Tomb, the actual Garden Tomb of history of Scripture, this is its location. This is the site where Joshua was laid in Joseph of Arimathea tomb, the sepulchre. This is it here. This is how it looked. This is the sepulchre, historical sepulchre, the one in Scripture. Is it here? These two openings. These are the chambers. It's one here and one here. These are the chambers. These are underground chambers. When Peter ran to the tomb, he came here. This is an opening. He came here in this opening and he had to pericupto. He had to pericupto, meaning stoop down. He had to bend over and look downward into the chamber, into the opening, into the underground opening where Joshua was laid. This is an opening, a chamber underground, and it is hewn into a cavern. This is it here. This is how it looked. This sepulchre, it is next to the garden. This is the garden that John spoke of in his gospel. This is the garden, and this is the sepulchre, and these are the chambers, the openings, where Joshua, his body was placed, and this is where Joshua rose from. And all of this is at the foothill of Golgotha. This is Golgotha. Joshua, he was crucified at the foothill of Golgotha in this area here. We were lied to and told that Joshua was crucified on top of Golgotha. That never happened. Joshua was crucified at the foothill of Golgotha. This is the sepulchre. These are the openings, the underground chambers that were hewn out and constructed into an underground cavern. This is the garden tomb. This is how it looked. This is its shape, located in Namibia. This is not the garden tomb. This is the garden tomb. This is the historical and scriptural garden tomb. This is how it looked. The garden tomb was not hewn out of a wall rock. The garden tomb was hewn out of the ground. It is an underground chamber. This one here is showing an opening in the wall of a rock. This is not the historical setting of the garden tomb. The garden tomb, again, was an underground chamber that is hewn into a cavern. And this is why Peter had to look down, had to bend over and look down. With this one, Peter would not bend over and look down. He would just look straight forward. So this is not the garden tomb. It's not in this type of structure. This also is not the garden tomb. When Peter come here, he would just look forward into the tomb. We're told that Peter, he pericupto, he stooped down, and he had to stoop down and bend over, looking downward into the tomb. This is the real garden tomb located in Namibia.